I'm Dr. Morne Mostert, Director of the Institute for Futures Research at Stellenbosch University. And I'm very pleased to be joined today by well-known South African businessperson, academic, and co-president of the global think tank, the Club of Rome. Welcome, Dr. Ramphele.
Thank you so much, Morne.
Now, Dr. Ramphele, the IFR is extremely pleased to co-host with you the annual summit of the Club of Rome. But just for those not very familiar, what is the Club of Rome?
The Club of Rome is a think tank, a thought leader, which is now 51 years old. It consists of people from all walks of life across the globe. The main focus has always been about the sustainability of our planet. Our most important publication was The Limits to Growth, which talked about how dangerous it was for us as humanity to consume all the natural resources the way we do, because there is a limit. And we didn't listen to that warning so many years ago. And today we have the climate emergency upon us.
And so this year's summit has a very interesting theme. The theme is Our Joint Futures, Lessons from Africa. Why is this theme important?
The future is what we have a responsibility for. And it is a joint future. It's not about what happens in one corner of the world, it's what happens to the whole globe. And there are lessons we can harvest from the mother continent, this cradle of humanity, Africa. Africa is a place where we evolved as a human race because we lived in harmony. We learned to live in harmony with nature. How can we harvest those lessons from that ancient wisdom to be able to deal with the emergencies upon us and to find new ways of being?
That's an enormously exciting perspective, isn't it? What can we learn from Africa? Now, the conference is structured around 4 thematic areas. The climate emergency, the emerging new civilizations, reclaiming and reframing economics, and then also rethinking finance. It seems to me that there must be some connections between these various thematic areas. Why those areas?
Those areas are important because the climate emergency is already upon us. We have heard the reports from the scientists, and you can see it. Cape Town ran out of water. Europe has been experiencing one of the hottest summers that they've ever had. So the climate emergency, we cannot deny it, is upon us. The question is, what are we going to do as a human race to emerge out of this emergency? Hence the importance of the emerging new civilization. What needs to change in the way we engage as a human race with ourselves, but also with nature? And those lessons of how to engage better, we derive from the ancient wisdom, buried in philosophies from Africa, Ubuntu, East, and from indigenous people across the globe. The 4th theme is about reframing and reclaiming economics. Economics is supposed to be about goods and services, the exchange of goods and services. But we have turned it into, as they call it, the queen of the science. It is not. It is not a natural science, it's a social science, it's a human science. And if we can take away from economics this idea of a mathematical way of knowing in advance how things are going to work out, we will then be able to have the humility to know that, like everything else, we as human beings have to focus on how we relate to one another in a way that is just, in a way that is sustainable. The finance comes in because we have turned into a species that worships money. We have had financial crisis after financial crisis because we have allowed economists with their mathematical formulas, but also people who inherited money to be the people who dictate. And the way we measure success is about GDP growth. What about well-being? What about bringing into our understanding of well-being the well-being of the planet? Because without that, there cannot be the human species as we know it today. And so we are taking this holistic look, and we are looking at it from a scientific point of view, from the point of view of business people, people in public policy making, and also from activists. But young people's voices are going to be at the center of all these deliberations.
Gosh, that's absolutely fascinating. A really three-dimensional perspective on some of the most significant issues facing humanity and the planet. It's been my extreme honour to have a conversation with Dr. Mamphela Ramphele, co-president of the Club of Rome. We look forward to a very exciting summit in November at the elegant Spear Wine Estate. We hope to see you there.